I always feel like the further you get and the closer to the end of the year, the more the time just seems to fly by. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing my October wrap-up already, which is crazy, and I'm filming this a couple of days after October's ended. I'm just like, where has the time gone? Where has the time gone? But I'm going to talk about everything that I read or listened to throughout the month of October, and I didn't get through like a crazy amount, but I feel like it's still a pretty solid amount. I had a pretty busy month and had a little vacation where I didn't get as much reading done, and so let's talk. So first off is The Sunlit Man. I read this actually. I read the ebook of it. I got this kind of recently. I've had it for a bit now, probably a week or two. And so I read right away when it came out. I wasn't able to get to Yumi right away when it came out, so I wanted to get to this one, and then still didn't have time to film a review until a while after. This probably is my favorite of the bunch, which I know there's a lot of people have said that, and then other people like some of the other ones, but I did enjoy this. I did a review talking about this, and then also just kind of talking about the secret projects in general. I really did enjoy this. I still really like my copies of the books, and so gone pretty well. This one, though, getting something that was very much like more at the forefront Cosmere. Some of the others were Cosmere adjacent, but this was a little more at the forefront, and just had that feel where, once again, I'm happy to have some of these that feel, they have that kind of energy of classic Sanderson. Sometimes they're not like as necessarily like as complex as some of the stuff he's been doing now, but they kind of have that feel. So pretty happy with that. And then I listened to the beginning of Arrogance. This was my first ever full production audio that I have done. This was sent to me by the group that put it out as well. I do have a review for this one. Also, and I'll link all those in the description. This one, I really liked the production. It was interesting, and I was worried about doing a full production, but the background music wasn't always there. But when it was, it didn't feel like it was competing. The narrator was just one narrator for this one. Did a really good job, and some of the sound effects and other things like that, just the way it was done, made it really enjoyable. It was a little bit too much of the lit RPG kind of thing for me. Continuing my journey of, I still don't really know if that's for me. I have a feeling that it's not. But it just kind of had some of those feelings that like the D&D type of thing. I think if you enjoy those types of things, if you really like your game lit, your lit RPG, D&D kind of stuff, whatever you want to call it, this is definitely one to check out. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's just some of that stuff, the further I got, the more I just was kind of like, okay. First half, I'm like, I'm really liking this. And then the more of those elements. And it wasn't really any fault of the book. It's just that's kind of what it is, and that's just not necessarily my thing. Then I was working on The Traitors We Are, Book 1 of Crown and Tide by Michael Roberti, and I really, really enjoyed this. I had a great time with this book. I've been meaning to get to this for a while. This was originally a review copy. Well, the author sent me this review copy. I actually had this and the prequel on my Kindle. I don't remember if I got that before or after, but sent me this review copy. I had a great time with this. Also have a review for it. Just all kinds of politics and scheming and a ton of great stuff going on there with just the characters and the journey. And so I had very few complaints with this one. Really, really enjoyed it and definitely recommend checking it out if you're into some kind of politic with some nice action as well. Things were pretty different with this one, and it also is the kind of thing where we're slowly getting more of the world, and with some stuff at the end that look like we're about to dig a lot deeper in with the next book. So I'm very excited to see where that one goes. And then immediately after read The Revenge of the Thousands, which is the prequel. And in my review, I was only like halfway through the prequel when I did the review for the first book, and I commented on whether or not which one you should do first, and I said you could probably do either. If you're more character focused, the prequel probably makes sense because you'll have a little bit more emotional weight later because you know these characters. If you're more plot focused, I think reading the first one, just going right in, probably makes more sense. I've changed it a little bit where I do think the prequel should go after, because the prequel I feel like gives you a little too much insight into a few characters and will make it way easier to see what's coming in the actual first books. I still think you really can do either or first, but I just feel like it gives, like I said, a little too much insight into some of the characters. And so if you like kind of being surprised and watching the kind of twists and turns of characters, unfold. I feel like reading it second will make sure it doesn't spoil anything, but it's just like I said, that's kind of, and the further I got in, once I finished it, I'm like, oh, I can kind of see there were some things in motion, and so that's kind of where I landed there. And then, a very surprising term. So I started Spirit Gate by Kate Elliott. This is the first book in the Crossroads trilogy. I wanted to read this for a long time. It's been on my list. I was working on getting physical copies. I still need book 2. But I started this, and you may have seen yesterday I had a short come out for this where I was kind of poking fun at some of the lines that I feel like had to be intentional. But this was one, it's not what I was expecting tone-wise. It was like it was dark, but also with like kind of the comedic way, and just kind of the tone and the style were different than what I was expecting, because I knew it was going to be different than Crown of Stars, but I've also actually read a short story that takes place in this world, so I kind of had an idea of the world. I read, Kate Elliott's newer stuff, so having read her older and newer stuff and a short story in the world, I think I had certain expectations on what kind of book this was going to be, and it seems like those were incorrect. So it wasn't what I was looking for at the moment. So it was very much a not for now, not a DNF. I just, it's not what I thought it was going to be when I jumped in, and so I wanted to kind of wait and give it another shot, probably this month. I will go and continue that, but it just wasn't what I was looking for at the time, and so I put that down. And then the next thing I ended up picking up was the First Chronicles of Just the Legend on audio, and continuing my Drenai way. I did just have a review for this come out as well, and man, I really, really enjoyed this book. This was just great. I've not disliked any of the Drenai books, and I was even, when I filmed my review, I was trying to think in my head of kind of my ranking, but this is a prequel, and it's following Druss and kind of seeing how he became Druss the Legend, and it does a really, really great job. It has a lot of great exploration of his character, the idea of heroes and stories and how those things come to the fore, and it was just really, really interesting, and I had a great time with it, and I cannot wait. I kind of want to try to finish the rest of Drenai this year. I have all the audiobooks, I love Sean Barrett's narration. It just fits Drenai so well that I've been doing most of them on audio, and so I definitely could, and I think I may, just because I'd like to kind of wrap it up and get through the rest. I only have a few left. I'm pretty close to being done, so I most likely will. We'll see. And then next up on audio, I did Cupboards All Bared by Patricia Meredith, immediately followed by Crazy Maids in a Row by Patricia Meredith. These are books 2 and 3 in the Spokane Clock Tower Mysteries. I was kind of at the point, like I said, where like Spirit Gate wasn't really what I wanted. And then I did Druss, and I really enjoyed that, but I didn't know what I wanted to listen to or read, and I was kind of in a weird spot, so I'm like, what, let's throw this in. Throw a mystery, do something completely different, and I had a really good time with it. I'll say that Cupboards All Bared, I do plan on doing a review. I'll probably do a combo review of both. Cupboards All Bared, I liked a little bit less than the first book, because I really, really liked the first book, and so it was still good. It just wasn't quite as good. I felt like some bits were a little bit more predictable and kind of weird. Whereas Crazy Maids in a Row, maybe just because also it was doing something, it involves the mental asylum, and just doing something that I've seen, and I really enjoyed the way it went. But that one bumped right back up for me too, and really, really had a great time with that. With both of these two, it's so interesting because they're mysteries, but they're very specifically historical mysteries, and they double as kind of historical fiction. And Patricia Meredith always includes at the end, she'll confirm, like, these are all the things that are absolutely real, these people, these events, these things. And it's funny because sometimes the thing that I'm like, that doesn't seem realistic in the book, actually happened. And so that's kind of the crazy thing. It's interesting. Sometimes my opinions on certain things will change when I get to the end of these. And I see, like, oh, these are all real things and real people. Whether it's something small, like there's a character whose last name is Hallway, and he's one of the police officers, and I'm like, really? Hallway? Real guy. That's really was his name. He was alive, and he worked for the police at that time. And so it's just really funny to see those things, and it really adds to my enjoyment when I get to the end and I hear those things, like these are all the real things and people and the inspiration. So it's just really kind of added that combination of interesting history, interesting mysteries. Not something, I don't read a lot of, historical fiction or mysteries, but the combo has been really great, and I've had a really fun time with, so really enjoyed those as well. And then, next up, one that I'm almost finished with. Like I said, this is a couple of days after the end of the month that I'm actually filming this, because I'm filming it shortly before it's coming out. So I'm almost done now. I was probably a little past half at the end of the month. Was No Safe Haven. This is book 2 of Militu by James Lloyd Doolan, and this has been really, really solid as well. So No Safe Haven was kind of a surprise. One of my favorites last year. Really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure it was last year. I think so. But anyway, really, really enjoyed it. Had a fantastic time with it, and just loved it. It was one of my favorites. And so coming to this one, pretty high expectations, and it's been really good so far. So far, not quite as good as the first one for me on this one too. I think some of it's just the first book was so explosive and getting into the world, and this is doing some stuff too. I'm going to talk about more. I need to, once I finish it, I'll definitely film a review and then kind of get all my thoughts out there. Although the point of where I'm at now, some big things seem like they're getting ready to happen, so I'm very excited to finish it. I'll definitely finish it tonight. And go from there. But really, really interested and having a good time still with it as well. And then the other book that I'm still currently working on is The Awakening Fire by Cassidy Faline. I should mention, No Safe Haven was technically an e-arc, even though it's out now. So I'm still reading the e-arc version, but it is out now, I should mention. This was also a review copy that was sent to me. Another one that I've had for quite some time. I've realized how long I've been so behind on my review copies, which is why I've had to stop accepting new ones or just giving like crazy timelines because I'm just still desperately trying to get to the ones that I have. I'm making good progress this month, which several things I did this month were review copies, including this one. And this one, I'm getting to the halfway point, so I still have a lot to happen. But I'm really interested to see where this goes. This one, immediately the premise here, as soon as I started, it really had me fascinated because we're focusing a lot on the ancients, who were the people in power, and they had extremely strict rules, like no war, and you're not allowed to be classist, you're not allowed to do this, that, and basically everything is punishable by death. And right away, that just got my wheels spinning. The kind of idea of these ancient people who there are still people who revere them and like worship them, and they're looked at as this group, and they're have all these super idealistic yet punished by death kind of thing. That sort of thing really interests me. And so thinking about it, and I wonder, are we going to find out maybe they weren't exactly what people thought, that sort of thing. So just had my imagination spinning wild and running all over the place right off the bat. So when a book pulls me in like that, that's always a good sign. And then the book itself is just, there's a ton of politics going on as well. So very, very politically heavy. It reminds me of like almost, and take this, I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, this is like Game of Thrones for literally everything, because it's not. But the just constant politics, the different factions, the different people, all of the connections, that sort of thing. It has a lot of that going on, except very fast paced. This has gone at like a blistering pace, and there's been lots of reveals and things that you're finding out kind of as you go. So really interested to see where this one goes. This is another night. Should be done fairly quickly. This is not a long book. I've just had limited time, so I've been a little bit slow to get through some of the things that I've been working on. But I'll definitely get that finished here shortly, hopefully within a few days. And then I'm not sure what I'll be going to next, but we'll find out. That's it, though, for October. I'm pretty sure I got everything. Yeah. I do not know. I didn't do a TBR or an MBR for November because I have no idea what I'm going to read. Probably some more review copies, some other things, maybe Spirit Gate, and then there's just a lot of other things that I've been wanting to get to, and I'm going to kind of see what I want to fit in, because I'm having a little bit of burnout after multiple readathons, getting a lot of stuff done, and so I've been kind of switching it up more, just doing things that I know I'm going to enjoy, or just doing something totally different, which has been working pretty well for me so far as well. And so it's yeah, I'm getting through. Like I said, this is still a pretty solid list, considering I was reading a little bit slower this month, but I'm hoping to get a lot done. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm hoping to get a lot done here in the last couple months of the year, and then kind of take stock and see what I need to focus on for next year. But that's it for this one. Let me know what you read in October, anything that stand out. as well as your thoughts on any of the books that I talked about here as well. Always love to hear from you. Of course, give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether any of these books, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.